Hey up, you guys! It's time to decide who is the biggest loser of 2022. Mind you, you cannot choose Meghan Markle or Amber Heard. Hey up, everyone! It's me, Stef, the Alternate, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to another dose of the Daily Nerd, where I break down the news and pop culture stories of the day that's pretty much caught me eye. And oh my goodness, have I got a special video for you lovely lot today? Because guess what? It ain't just me you've got to contend with. Oh no, 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 no. Today I have special guest, Legal Vices on the
Hey,
channel.
how are you
Hello.
doing?
Oh, I am so freaking happy right now that you're here. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm equally happy that I'm here, and it's in the middle of the night here in Korea, so you got to get the blood flowing. So why not talk about people we love and respect and care about?
Yes, absolutely.
Or not?
But now, the way that this is going to work is I'm going to say who I think is the biggest loser of 2022. That's not Amber Heard or Meghan Markle. Legal Vices is then going to show his choice. And then you guys get to decide in the comments below, who do you think won, me or Legal Vices? But before we get into all that, as ever, a little bit of housekeeping. Firstly, YouTube human reviewer, I see you lurking. I'm not going to say any trigger words or anything that's going to offend your ear holes. And Legal Vices hopefully won't do that as well.
Try not to.
And for everyone else awesome enough to have clicked on this video, hi, welcome, how are you all doing? If you love news and pop culture on the daily, served with a little bit of sass and gobbiness, which is basically this, right? Do make sure you click on that subscribe button, like, share, comment down below as ever your opinion, conspiracy theories and whatevers. Also as well, for your consideration, you can always send me a super thanks, which is just below this video right here. Also as well, I would absolutely implore you, please, the link will be in the description bar below. Go on over to my wonderful friend's channel, Legal Vices. Hit that subscribe button. Watch a buttload of his videos. Like, share, comment. Dude ain't even at 50,000 subscribers. I think that's an absolute crime against freaking humanity. So, Alter Nerds, assemble and subscribe today. Again, his channel link will be in the description bar below. But with that being said, whoo, let's jump into this, shall we? Let's do this. Right, so I shall be, one of those, there's like a etiquette for horse, right? The guests go first. So, Legal Vices, go first.
No. Ladies first.
Oh.
Ladies first. I will defer to your rant.
Dude, I've got a bigger dong than you.
That's frightening.
Okay. So, right, I'll announce who I think is the biggest loser of 2022, and you do the same, and then we'll go into it. So,
all right.
For me, I'm choosing Will Smith. Who are you choosing?
Okay, I am choosing WNBA star Brittany Griner.
Okay, so in terms of Brittany Griner, why did you choose her?
Well, to coin a phrase, to use a phrase that's coined by a very, very dear friend of mine, she's just a giant cow bag. Absolutely. She's in a situation. We'll talk about her situation. If you don't know who she is, that's part of the problem. She's a WNBA, women's NBA, professional basketball player. Nobody watches it anyway, but she's managed to make an international incident all about herself. And that's why she's my cow bag of the year.
So the only thing I know about this story in particular is that it was during I think the Olympics or something along those lines. And that she got caught with the green stuff. And there was this whole kind of media push that she's been unfairly treated. It was a show trial. It was a sham, all this lot. So just being a little bit more, just to explain a bit more specific, why do you really think that
Oh,
she's
yeah.
like the biggest loser of 2022? Like, what's wrong with this story, this whole
Well,
picture?
exactly that. Everything you said is what everybody knows, and it's all utterly wrong. Now, I hate to be law talking guy, but as a lawyer, this is the thing that happened. I got a timeline laid out here for her. Well, here's some high points of her timeline,
Mm.
because it's really, really important what's going on. She has worked in Russia as a basketball player during the off season for 8 years, I believe, before this happened. And this last February 17th of last year, she's traveling back to the team she plays for in Ekaterinburg, and she has some vape cartridges that have a little bit of hashish oil in them. I think, don't know the correct
The
scientific term for it,
green.
but it was just some it wasn't THC, it was whatever the other chemical compound but that's beside the point. She had some illegal stuff in her illegal vape thing, and it was like 0.01% or something like that, but the fact is it's above zero. It's there, it's in her luggage. She gets there out of the baggage claim, and they just sort of say, all right, you're coming with us. This was before the Ukraine invasion happened. It was about 2 weeks before Russia invaded Ukraine. So you can't say it was in retaliation for that, or it happened before that. And then about a month later, the word finally gets out to the rest of the world that she's been detained. And they go through the legal process, no matter what country you're in, is a lengthy thing. Criminal things can be very, very lengthy. And it's towards the end of March that someone from the U.S. consulate goes to visit her. Now, that's the people think that this is like the born identity. If you get arrested in another country, by and large, unless you're Brittany Griner or somebody like that, the embassy does not come to your rescue. They don't bring the Marines and storm the jail and do an extraction. They're a diplomatic mission. They're not there to take care of people and hold them by the hand. Your consular officials, your embassy officials, their duty is essentially to make sure you are being treated no worse than a citizen of the country that you're in would be treated in that exact same situation. So March 23rd, they go there. They see the U.S. consulate says, okay, she's in good condition, pretty much meaning that she's not being treated any worse than a Russian citizen would be being treated in that situation. And that's when the Women's National Basketball Association, the WNBA, they start getting involved. They start doing these online. And her wife, Brittany Griner's wife, she started making some waves, making some news about this. And they're sort of making it awkward. She's a woman of color. She's black. She's a lesbian. So she's a foreigner. And then by now the war has started. So they're saying Russia has this anti-gay and lesbian policy. So they're saying she's being held unfairly. She's being held unjustly. So they're starting to bring the politics into it, and she is. I guess I don't know if she's encouraging it, but she's not discouraging this. And hey, if I was in her situation, I'd probably do the same thing. But at some point, about 2 months after she's arrested, the U.S. government, after I guess getting all of this pressure from people, they do this thing. They designate her what's called a wrongfully detained person, which essentially means she has become a hostage. It's a hostage status. That's the designation they give to people that are being held hostage, essentially, by governments.
Okay.
And so this continues. But if you just look at it, everything is going according to how a normal criminal prosecution would go. She hasn't been able. She's complaining in the world media. She's complaining that she hasn't been able to talk to her wife in a month. That's not unusual, especially in a foreign country. And she's her wife is talking about Joe Biden. President Biden hasn't called me yet. How many people are in jail in foreign countries around the world for drug offenses that are never called by the president of the United States, that are never called by anyone in the State Department? There's no negotiations that go on. She's sort of playing up her status as some sort of victim in all of this. But the essential, to get to the end of this timeline, she ultimately pleads guilty. She said, yes, it was, and that's the legal system in other countries are not what they are in the United States. That doesn't mean they're worse. In fact, I think it means they're a lot more practical. I mean, the way I read this Russian proceeding, it sounds a lot like what happens in Korea. Did you have it? You had it. Okay, it's illegal to have it. Guess what? You're guilty. And she pled guilty and said, yes, I had it. Yes, it was wrong. And I know she knew before she brought it into Russia that she knew it was illegal, because I get this all the time in my office. People, the first thing they do, either before they get here or when they get there, go, I have a legal question. What's the green laws in Korea? Can I? And especially professional athletes, they know everything that goes in their body. They know everything they want to do. And I know in 8 years, someone had to tell her that you can't have those here. But she knew it. So she admits it. She said, yes, I didn't do it intentionally. They were just in the bag. I'm sorry. That doesn't excuse her from breaking the law. She went there. She pled guilty. She said, then they went into the penalty phase, which happens in Korea. You go, okay, you plead guilty and you hope that you can get a reduced sentence, which is what she did. It's a possible 10-year sentence. They gave her 9.5 years, which is also common. The first instance, they give you a high deal. You appeal it. You stay in jail for a few more months. And then on appeals, they reduce it down to basically time served, and they send you away because you're a problem. They don't want to deal with foreigners in foreign countries. They want to get you out of there as soon as they can, unless you've committed a really heinous crime. So if this would have played out, I think she would have gone to her appeals. They would have reduced it to time served and deported her from the country, and that would have been it. That would have been over. But she conflates it into this gigantic political situation, essentially forcing the government to come to her rescue. And what they do in the process, they make a deal. They make a prisoner swap deal that she signed off on. She agreed to in this prisoner swap deal. They swapped her with a guy, a Russian prisoner who had been sentenced to 25 years in jail in America for attempting to sell weapons to people in South America that were specifically intended to destroy American military lives. In Colombia, he was selling weapons to Colombians who wanted weapons to be able to take out Black Hawk helicopters and Apache attack helicopters that are down there involved in the war on drugs. This guy that they traded her for is known as the Merchant of Death. This guy is an international arms dealer that is so bad, Nicolas Cage made a movie about him called The Lord of War. And if you're going to do a prisoner swap, you do a one-to-one exchange, value for value. There's a guy that's been in Russia for 4.5 years. He's been accused of being a spy, and this is what you would normally do. A prisoner swap would be like spy for spy. Okay, you caught him, you caught our guy. All right, we give him back to you, you give us our spy, and then we go back to spying on each other. That's how a normal prisoner swap works. But this one was a prisoner swap with a WNBA basketball star for a Merchant of Death. How bad is this Merchant of Death guy? He funded the war in Sierra Leone. I mean, that's kind of a bad thing, but what he's also did, and this is what the most remarkable thing of this guy's story. There's a civil war in Angola. And he actually sold weapons to both sides. He provided weapons to both sides in the Civil War. He's provided weapons to Al Qaeda. He's good friends with the guy that was in Africa, Liberia, President Charles Taylor. This guy, he's an international arms dealer. Now he's out. And he's probably making deals with Russia for the war in Ukraine by the time he gets on the airplane after the prisoner swap. But the guy that they arrested in the States, the guy they arrested that's been there, they wanted him back. But Biden said, well, this is the best we can do. They swapped. They left this guy that's has been accused of being a spy. He's been there since 2018. They said, no. He's got to stay there, but we have to bring back this woman basketball player in exchange for the Merchant of Death. And as again, I can't fault her for not saying, wait a minute, I did the crime, I did the time. Why don't you get this high value target out? I'll just do my thing. I would have done the same thing, but she's the cowbag of the year because She made this all about her. She admitted to doing the crime. She, in fact, did something illegal. If you don't want to do the time, do not do the crime. And then when you get caught doing something, don't whine and moan and gripe about it and expect the United States government to come in and save you from your own crime. This wrongful detention stuff she keeps spouting is a lot like the people that you said we can't talk about earlier today. Oh, everything is wrongful. It wasn't me. That's what she's saying. She keeps saying this was a wrongful detention. No, it wasn't. You got caught with it. You admitted to having it. You pled guilty to having it. You explained why you had it. And then you let this thing conflate into a global prisoner exchange where you get to come home and we get to give them back the merchant of death, and we have to keep a high value target remaining in prison in Russia. And the fact that she organized all of that, signed off on it, actively participated in it, and was literally complaining that Joe Biden hasn't called her on the telephone is a disgrace to America. It's a disgrace to her. If you can even be a bigger disgrace to women's basketball, professional basketball, that's her. And to just ride this out, and then the backlash was so big after she got back to the States that she started publishing these articles going, oh, we should write to the other guy that's in Russia, write him letters of support. You know, it's a shame he's still there. Well, he's there because you insisted on this deal, Brittany Griner. And the fact that you made this all about you, and this is the best we could do, and all of this became about her, she is my vote for the cow bag of the year.
Woo! Okay, right. So
And I did it without getting sweary. I'm so proud of myself.
I know. I'm so proud of you too, my friend. My goodness. Well done. Well, that was Legal Vice's for Brittany Griner as the biggest loser of 2022. That's not
Absolutely.
Amber Heard or Meghan Markle. So if you do agree with Legal Vices, comment down below. If you disagree with him, also comment down below. Let's keep it healthy and let's keep it cool, guys. In the meantime, as I mentioned earlier on, yes, Matten. So, who is my biggest loser of 2022? Will Smith.
Why is Will Smith the biggest loser of the year?
Oh, because he has lost everything. Absolutely everything. His career is down the toilet. A lot of his peers he's lost the respect of. But let's go into this a little bit more, right, guys? So here we go. We're talking about the slap that was heard around the world, as we know. Back last year, around about March time, Oscars, all of a sudden, Chris Rock makes a joke. Will Smith goes up, absolutely slaps him across the face. I wake up the next morning, phone blows up. I'm like, what? This is real? It was real, guys. And so what happened since then? Well, guys, he lost everything. You've got a situation whereby he has had a comedy called This Joker, which was a series on, I believe, Roku that's not been renewed for a second season. That was halted. He also had a production on a movie called Fast and Loose that was halted by Netflix. He was set to star as a crime boss who loses his memory and apparently produce it. That's gone down the toilet. Also, as well, Sony. Bad Boys 3 came out, and that was really, really good for Sony. It did really, really well. So what did they do? They greenlit Bad Boys 4. But guess what? Since the slap, oh my goodness, that is now down the toilet. And have you heard of the movie Emancipation? Did you know it was out right now on Apple? No, me neither. There's a reason for that. No one gives a shiz about him anymore. No one thinks he's bankable. There's been no promotion for it whatsoever. And the little promotion that has been done for it that you have been hearing about, oh, well, everyone's just reporting on his comments about the whole Oscars incident. There's been no focus on his project that has come out since the incident. And the video that he did where he was apologizing and all that lot, no one took seriously. It was so highly slickly produced. It seemed so scripted it was untrue. No one bought the apology. No one bought his explanation. It was just absolutely trash. Not only that, but at the end of the day, his peers have lost all respect in him completely. Let me show you this one. So Kathy Griffin tweeted, "Let me tell you something. It's very bad practice to walk up on stage and physically assault a comedian. Now, we all have to worry about who wants to be the next Will Smith in comedy clubs and theatres. You know, it got to the point where, comedians were saying, do you know what? This is a watershed moment. Will Smith has actively now co-signed and greenlit the audience. If they don't like a joke, they could just go up and just absolutely wallop the comedian. Like, this is now become a dangerous scenario for comedians on stage. You even had freaking Mark Hamill, one of the nicest guys in entertainment, turn around and say stand-up comics are very adept at handling hecklers. Violent physical assault, not so much. Hashtag ugliest Oscar moment ever. Oh my goodness. When you've got Luke Skywalker turning around and saying, dude, opinion conspiracy theory, whatever, you freaking loser, you freaking idiot, what the deuce? You gotta reevaluate your life at that point when I can get my teeth back in. Oh, but not even that. One of the biggest comedians ever, Jim Carrey, spoke out about this. And this was during the time when he was promoting his own film, Sonic 2, which, by the way, I love the Sonic movies. They're absolutely brilliant. And what did he say about this? He said it was a selfish moment. And we're going to get onto that in a moment. He says, I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation. Hollywood is just spineless en masse. And it really felt like this is a really clear indication that we aren't in the cool club anymore. He added that if he were The Rock, I'd have announced this morning that I was suing Will for $200 million because that video is going to be there forever. It's going to be ubiquitous. That insult is going to last a very long time. If you want to yell from the audience and show disapproval or say something on Twitter, that's fine. But you don't have the right to walk up on stage and smack somebody in the face because they said words. And this is the thing. Jim Carrey is right. Because now when you think of Will Smith, what do you think of? Because for me, I think of that slap. I don't think of Bad Boys. I don't think of Enemy of the State. I don't think of Fresh Prince. I don't think of any of his back catalogue anymore. I just think of the first thing that comes into my head, the slap. The slap not only destroyed his future career, because again, has anyone seen Emancipation? Did anyone even think it was out? No. But he's absolutely ruined, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, his legacy. He's completely ruined it. He's ruined his image. He is done. It is absolutely finished, finito. And the other thing is, Jim Carrey is right. It was a selfish moment because for the Oscars that year, it took away the limelight of every other single winner then for that night. Because when you think of Oscars 2022, you think of that slap. What you don't think of, right, and let's go here, is a family drama Coda winning 3 awards throughout the evening. With director Sean Ader taking home the night's Top Gun, which was Best Picture and Best Adapted Screenplay. You don't think about Troy Kotsur making history by becoming the first deaf performer to win the statue for Best Supporting Actor, who dedicated his win to the deaf community, the Coda community, and the disabled community. What you also don't think about is who else won. Jane Campion was named Best Director a few minutes later after that incident for The Power of the Dog. What you don't think about here is she was the only second female to win Best Director of the night. No. You don't think about those watershed moments in Oscar, right? A massive, powerful film representing the deaf and disabled community, taking home big awards. You don't think about the first ever, deaf person to win Best Supporting Actor. No. You don't think about the second only female person to win Best Director. No, you don't think of all those big historical moments in film and Oscar history. No. For Oscars 2022, it's Will Smith hitting Chris Rock. And Chris Rock, by the way, has gone from strength to strength because his tour, which was the Ego Death tour, his tickets absolutely quadrupled in price at that point. Every single show since then sold out, gone, done. It was announced only recently that he is going to be doing the first ever, if I remember rightly, live show on Netflix for comedy. His career is going from strength to strength. Will Smith is just circling down that toilet drain even further. So for all those reasons, I would say that for me, Will Smith is the biggest loser of 2022. And just to keep it fair, Legal Vices, if you could just recap, just to keep it fresh in the audience's minds, why do you feel that Brittany Griner, in a nutshell, is the biggest loser of 2022, apart from Amber Heard or Meghan Markle?
Well, that's good, because I was going to ask if we get a rebuttal round. So, so that's good. Again, she brought those illegal substances into Russia. She knew she brought them in. She admitted to bringing them in. She pled guilty at trial. Then she became the victim. Then the narrative started that she was unjustly detained. How more justly detained do you get than having possession of it, admitting to having possession of it, and pleading guilty to having possession of it in court? And then it becomes this big international incident where she ends up being involved in a prisoner swap with the guy named the Merchant of Death, who has been the premier international arms dealer for the past couple of decades, who, as we just talked about, literally armed both sides of a civil war. And now he's out back in business. And whereas Will Smith has already lost everything and is therefore a loser, she is a bigger loser because now she's getting paid more. She's got a salary bump. She's getting lots of publicity. She is gaining from this. She has increased her place in life by doing this. That is disrespectful to every other prisoner who is anywhere in the world for any drug case. There's another woman who was released from Russia the same day she was, never heard from the consulate other than once, never got a call from Biden, never had anybody check up on her, didn't even have a ride home. She didn't get flown home on a presidential jet or however the heck Griner got back to the States. It's unfair to everyone else in an equal or worse situation than her. And the fact she gets to leverage this to more money and more fame makes her, in my view, the biggest loser of 2022.
Okay, guys. Well, you have heard both sides of the argument. So it's enough with our gobs. It's now time for your gobs. Comment down below. Who do you agree with? Are you Team Legal Vices for Brittany Griner, or are you Team Stef the Alternate with Will Smith? Let us know in the comments down below. Also, as well, if you appreciated this video, and of course you did, you want to make sure you subscribe for more. So the next thing you need to do is press that subscribe button. Click the notification bell to on so you're notified every single time I go live or release a video like this. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theories, whatever's. You know the drill. Also, as well, if you liked what was coming out of Legal Vices, gobs, and of course you did, because my logic is undeniable, then you need to scoot your way over straight away to his channel, Legal Vices, on YouTube. The link will be in the description bar below. Mate, when they go over to your channel, what are they to expect from your little corner of the world?
Well, Legal Vices. I'm a lawyer. And by the way, before we get into that, I just want to say that regardless of who comes out the winner in this situation, we have the best color setup of any video on YouTube right now. This is a great color palette for both of us. This is fantastic. But if you come on over to me, you'll see much more green. I got the green room here, and I feel very green today. But we do legal commentary. I do mainly maritime law. So usually on Mondays we have Maritime Monday, where we talk about ship collisions, big, gigantic floating pieces of steel smashing into each other, shipping disasters, shipping mysteries, maritime things. Every Thursday we do a retro trial. We're doing O.J. Simpson. We've been doing O.J. Simpson for about 4 months. We'll probably do it for 4 more months. Every Friday we just watch so you can see some of the best cross examinations by some of the greatest legal defense lawyers anywhere in the history of planet Earth. And the other days we were doing the Idaho case right now, the Idaho student case. We've got Sarah Boone, the suitcase murderer, allegedly coming up at the end of the month, locking her husband in a suitcase until he suffocates, allegedly. And we've got the Dumpster Brothers is a famous case this coming up. We got lots and lots of legal cases. We do legal cases, legal reviews, and then lots of times we just say, whatever, and we hit things. We enjoy our legal vices together, and we talk about pertinent and fun things. It's a great channel. You don't want to miss it. And Stef is on there occasionally, so that's just keep watching every day to see if she shows up.
Yeah, I was on just a couple of days ago on Friday night when you were doing the drink-a-thon kind of griftathon situation, and that was a buttload of fun. I love jumping onto those streams because we would just hang loose, let loose, talk whatever.
And those are honestly the funnest streams. I had 34 news articles ready to go for the hours and hours and hours they go. And I literally had to force someone to comment on one story about 5 hours in, just so it wasn't a complete it's just a freewheeling conversation with friends.
And I found out the meaning of based, and figured out how to actually make a cup of tea, which was amazing. So yeah, guys, with that being said, that is the video for today. Thank you very, very much for watching, and until the next time, you guys, laters.
Bye, everybody.